Welcome to George Coll Fine Art. Here, the viewer is encouraged to get outside and paint from life. George's job is to provide the tools to solve the many technical challenges faced in rendering landscape paintings. View the library of landscape paintings offered and become a subscriber. You can also purchase tutorial videos, plus original tutorial and studio paintings. Thank you. And if you like what you see, click the subscribe button and join in on the fun.
Hello and welcome to part one of a three-part series called Bighorn Saddle. So the Bighorns Mountains are in northern Wyoming, behind Buffalo, Wyoming, that area. And just a stunning area. Jenny and I have been, wandering around up there as well as southern Montana. And we had a wonderful time. But today is part one, which is block-in. So I go through that step by step, started with a white canvas. I think it's about 11 by 20, something like that, maybe 11 by 18. And I like that more horizontal design for this painting. Get outside and paint. Paint with your friends, get critiques, and don't be intimidated by a white canvas. Let's get started. All right. Bye. Hey, welcome to part one of a new series called Bighorn Saddle. So I sent that out on YouTube and to other students on another platform here yesterday, and we're ready to get this thing painted. Now I sent it out in two forms, more of a rectangle and then more of this long horizontal. And I'm choosing the horizontal today because, well, it just looks better that way. And so you guys can choose which way you want to go. This looks like to be a 11 or 12 by 20, maybe 22. And I have my monitor to the right, and I'm going to be working off that monitor. Jenny and I have been wandering up in the Bighorn Mountains of northern Wyoming. What a nice place. And what I like about it, they have so many meadows. And I know Colorado has meadows and trees, but up in the Bighorn they also even have more. So that's really cool. All right, I'm a little rusty because I haven't done a video in 3 weeks. So bear with me, and I'll try not to make too much of a fool of myself. All right, so what I want to do is figure out on part one where the shapes are going to be and get a value color in it. Now this is a big canvas to get done in 30 minutes. So I want to start my timer, which I didn't do, so I'm a little behind the times here, and get this thing rolling. So let me come up with a drawing color. So I'm going to go blue, ultra blue, raw sienna, blue, raw sienna. Get a little gray in there. Just some sort of a gray, bluey type color. So what I think I want to do is come in with a feeling is there's down here are some great foreground shapes, and then I think the top of the mountain should come down about here, and I think the peak of it should be over in here. It's kind of a saddle here. Well, this comes down, not too much, a little bit more here, and then there's kind of a drop off here, and it comes down here, and then another one comes off here. Boy, I don't think I forgot how to paint. All right, so with that there's another meadow coming in here. This is a lot of shadow down here, and I want to give it justice. I like that shadow foreground, and All right, there's this neat design of trees over in here. And then there is a kind of a rock face thing going on in here. And then there's this really, really neat design of meadow. Kind of a Zorro thing. Over in here. I have one prominent one stick out here maybe. All right, so with this we need and up in here we have another shape here. Maybe over here. So this is going to be the pine forest. Right in here. Okay. Now without, I do have other tree designs coming in here over in this area, and a lot of little guys popping up. And I think I can do more of that in various places as we go along. But let me, first of all, this is important. So let me at least get some trees over in this area here. And I'm just using an old worn out number 32025 long, and it's all worn out to a point because I've been using it for a long time. All right, I'm going to get back and take a look at my shapes. And I suggest you do that too, because all that is important to get back. You know, I'm wondering if, as I got back, if I have not brought this up enough. So I'm going to go up a little higher. And do some of that. Okay, which means I need to bring this up a little bit. Also, let me get back and check that now. It's better to make these changes now than when you're putting a lot of paint on this thing. And I think that's going to do us just fine. All right, time to get some color value in these big shapes. Now, my first teacher used a term called the mother color. Try to get a basic color for all these things, not getting into all the intricacies in all these different areas. So I'm going to do that with a number 4 rosemary long flat series 279. Right there. Okay, so let's start with some simple stuff. And I'm going to get some undercolor colors. So I'm going to use some in this area. I'll start with the darks. So I'm going to start with blue, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, and I'm going to get some gray in here. I get a little bit more, get some viridian in here. Get some green in here. All right. mixture is done. Now time to see if I made it anywhere close to the neighborhood of where I want to be. So I'm just gooping up this brush really, really well. I think this would be a great foundation color for the big darks up in here. This big dark trim. It's basically a big design, and what I would call it kind of an abstract design that is going to be a foundation for a painting. Now I can already tell it's darker than I need, and that's all right, because it's a foundation color. And I think I need to get up in here a little bit. And there's a big shape up in here. And all right, scoop this thing up a little bit more. So you can see this is going in pretty thin. And that's okay. Thin is good. I think there's a little bit of a meadow design coming up into here. Right up in here, I'm just now paying attention to it, and I should have stayed away from the dark there, but I can bring that back. This has to go all the way over. This goes like this. And I think I made a concave instead of a convex right here. Not good. And I might bring one down even a little farther than the reference. Right. What I'm trying to do is cover up the canvas so it's not this white stuff peeking through. And I'm going to be experimenting this later in the summer with some undercolors to gesso the undercolors. But for now, we're just working off a white canvas. All right, that's a lot. Okay, so let me take a sip of my coffee here and pace myself. All right, I want to make this color here a little darker, a little bit more brown, a little bit more blue, a little bit more viridian, and come in and do some foreground colors. There's some trees here, and they are very important to the design of this painting. So I think I might try to be a little bit more careful with my drawing. So let me come up here with a number 4 Rosemary 279 that has a nice sharper edge on it. See, my rosemaries are getting a little old. I picked up some Bristols, silver Bristols. I can't read it, it's so small. Anyway, I'll be using those probably in part 2 and 3. Because you have to be a little bit more defined. For these guys, you can kind of see I'm just being and I think I'm going to have some trees up in here too, see? They're important. And I think there's some darks in the front of these, and I'm going to be using this darker color to show that. Right there, see those? Good. And putting in these little defined lines here and using tree lines to make it happen. And that's kind of neat. And I might lose all this stuff anyway, so, but at least I have some idea where my markers are going to be here. Oh, that's nice. That tree wasn't there in the reference, but I'm going to make it up. And when we make things up in this business, we call it Bob Rossing it. Because Bob never used a reference, he just made it out of his head. Sometimes you just have to make things up. All right, can I use this for some of my foreground color? You can see this is in shadow, this is in bright. And let me see if I can use some of that by adding some yellow ochre to this mixture. And I'm going to put in some gray. Gray. And some cad yellow. Cad yellow. I'm going to go back to that big brush I had, to that number 4279. It's a little more flared out, more of a mop. I'm going to add some white to that. It's just a little too dark, and I think that color is going to do it just very nicely. I like the value of it, and I think it's a good undercolor, but it's not the good final color that I would like. But I just want to put it in where the shadow's going to be. Added more gray to it. And I think I need some of that up in here too, but I'm going to add more blue back there because that's what I see in the reference. I could probably even use a bigger brush to get this done. But I didn't make that decision in time because I'm kind of committed to my 30 minutes here. Let me see if I got the bottom of this done. Excuse me, I gotta lift the canvas over. Just trying to get that area down here where you can't see it, because it's hidden by the lip of the stabilizer that I have here. And let me check my camera to see if I put that back right. Not too bad. That will do nicely. Okay. And that would be, I think, sufficient here. And let's now add a little bit of cobalt blue to this mixture, and a little bit of gray, and a little white. And you can see here that it's a little different. A little different. And I think it's going to do just the right thing. And I need to this technique I'm using, going in thin and so forth, is a pretty common thing that a lot of artists use. And this is the way I basically do plein air painting, is going in thin, figuring out the basic shapes first, and yeah, doing that. I think I'll put this remainder on some of this foreground here. And at the same time,
Trying to cover up some of these white spots in there. The canvas showing through. Which I might finish off camera because it's kind of tedious work. All right, so now we have some big shapes here. This might be too big right here. I see it as smaller, so I'm going to make some shape changes. You say, why didn't you catch that 10 minutes ago when you stood back? But sometimes when you fill in the shapes with the value counter, you can see so much more and determine, oh, that shape is wrong or correct or something, whatever. So I'm going to go back to a darker mixture, which will be blue, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, a little bit more blue. Not too far off. And use that to make my shape change. So I'm loading up the 279 and making a shape change. Come on. Load it up. I probably didn't make enough product here. And I'm just making some delicate changes. And I think this might be a little bit more accurate as to what is needed. Okay, shape change is made. I'm going to go into a lighter mixture, so these cool mixtures that I've been mixing, the blue, the brown, the yellow ochre. Ochre is kind of in between warm and cool. And making my mixing area nice and clean and organized so I can make a big change here. So let's go lighter. You know, you can see that's something to do here with yellow ochre. I'm sorry, not yellow ochre, cad yellow. I put some cad yellow down with some white. Now watch when I add just a little bit of yellow ochre. And it starts getting pretty closer to what we need. I've got some gold ochre too. Too much, boy, that's a strong one. I may have lost my mixture. So I add some more white, and so I've lost my yellow. I'm going to add some of that. And I think I'm going to come back into the right neighborhood. Some green in that mixture too, so I'm going to add some viridian. See, how did you see that green? I can see it from the monitor. So to my right, I have, an Apple or something monitor here. What is this brand? It's a Dell, I'm sorry. And, you can blow up your image. And I blew it up to about the size that I have here on this canvas. And I think my canvas is a little bigger than what I have on the monitor. Right. Let's get to getting this stuff in here. Checking my time. Oh, about 8 minutes left. And I'm adding a little bit of Gamsol, which is odorless turp, I call it, just to give it a little spreadability and to keep it thin. Remember I said I thought there was a little meadow over here, so I'm going to add that up right there. And boy, the undercolor just doesn't do this final painting justice, but I think it's going to do us justice for a good undercolor. It's serving its purpose for now. And I think I need some light up in the front here. So I'm going to put some of this yellow up in a few places to lighten it up, because I see that in the reference. All right, trying to cover up some of my white canvas without making mud on the canvas. And I think there's different inroads here. And I think I need some shape changes up in this area too. Let me get back and see if that's working. Oh, that's looking good. Okay. Alrighty, let's get some gray up on top. And so I'm going to get some gray. I'm going to mix a little bit of the yellow in it. And you see there's kind of a gray, greeny thing right here. So I'll get that in right here. And I'll use that over here, even though there's more gray than green in this spot. Oop, 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 oop. Got too much yellow into it. Just want some good undercolors. And now we need to go to more gray. So I'm cleaning my brush, and I'm going to go to the gray. Gray. And get a little Gamsol in my mixture, and get that in. I think there's also a warm gray coming in right in here. But I think I just need some good mother colors for now. And there's a dark underneath the lip, I see that. But I'll get that later too. And I need to bring up some darks. I have too much rock face instead of forest that comes up. But I don't have any mixture left from that. So I am going to, for the sake of time, get to the sky. Let me put this nice yellow off somewhere and get ready for the sky color. Okay, get it clean. I'm working on glass, as you can see if you've been with me at all. I like to work on glass instead of plexiglass, which is a little too soft, or wood, which is too soft. So, I've got some cloud design here, and I think I'll just use the background color for that, for this lay-in time. And of course, now I can really see I need to bring up some of the darks up in here. And, you know, if you don't have any mixture left, you can just bring some up by pushing some up from down below. This is not something which is a good way to do it, but it'll be a good color reminder for me to get that done. Okay, sky. Let's see what I got here. I think I've got some going to do is make a mixture here of royal blue, King's blue, royal blue, got a different names depending on the brand. And I'm going to use a little cobalt also. And some white. Some white. And I'm going to use a different brush that I haven't used yet, and because it's uncontaminated. And it's just an old flare out number 4279. Kind of see it's flared out. Still good though. I mean, just because they get a little bit more flared out, once you get them loaded up, look, they kind of stick together pretty good. So I'm going to think of some cloud designs while I'm doing this. Oh boy, I sure ran that over a little too much. You can see I'm not using the end of my brush so much, which doesn't hold too much paint. I'm using the side, and I'm flipping it to many different sides to get all the paint off that I want to utilize. And now you can kind of see I'm playfully trying to figure out where my cloud design might be. Oh, I forgot that background shape right here. That's even lighter. I will have to get that tomorrow. And the cloud color is a good base, but I could certainly spruce that up, make this darker on top, lighter on the bottom. So I'm going to thin this with my paper towel before that dinger dings. Let me see what I can do here. To do that, I need a clean paper towel. Or actually, maybe just my... I'm going to use my connoisseur and just pick up the heavy stuff in that sky. You can see you can soften your edges too with it. And it keeps it thin. And I'm going to pick up some of this paint and keep it thin with my knife. All right, bye-bye.